our special connection. I recognize that ceiling. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we're repainting parts of the temple. So just from all the weather damage, I think through the years, the heat and all. So we're repainting white.
My suggestion, well, I suppose I should mention it to Keshavananda, but seeing the ceiling, my suggestion is don't paint the ceiling. Instead, remove the paint from the ceiling, because those are stone slabs. They're actually cooling and they don't hold paint well anyway. So they're stone slabs. So that'd be my suggestion, and it'll look good.
Okay. Yeah, it's true. It actually does look better without the ceiling painted. It gives contrast.
All right, so devotees are coming together quickly. They're all queuing up at the gate to come into the gathering. Let's keep the gates open. Welcome the devotees in. Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, very close to us here in Italy. And Varun, very close to us here in Italy, being in Vrindavan Dham. And Priyananda Devirasi, always close, being in Chiang Mai, Gupta Govardhan. And tell us, there we've got also, yes, tell us the names of the deities again, Priyananda. Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhava or Gandhavika.
Shishi Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Giridhariju.
Okay, I knew it was very close to the Navadip deities. Guru Gauranga Radha Govinda Sundar Ju and Giriraju. Okay, in Thailand, Kichai. Hare Krishna and Rupanuga Prabhu in wet Australia, but it looks bright. But Govinda Dham in Australia has been completely underwater. So I hope everything is okay there. Everything looks quite normal. Quick, we can't hear you, Rupanuga, but you're driving. So please, you drive safely.
Driving. No, I'm not driving.
Oh,
no,
you're not driving.
Yeah, that's my partner's, the remainders of her house. I've lost my car and it flooded Govinda Dham as well. Not very nice, just unprecedented, but we're in the middle of a cleanup. I came to the car to see your face, to brighten me up.
Hare Krishna. Oh my goodness. So just very briefly, did the flood waters go inside the temple? The temple itself?
They went across the floor, and as far as I know, there's been no damage. Unlike the damage you'll see here, the water went right up to the rooftops of the buildings there. It was that high, 14 meters high.
Wow.
Wow. So I'm in the middle of a messy cleanup, but I had to see your effulgent appearance to keep us alive and happy.
And Rupanuga Prabhu, you are also there and reminding us that this world is not our home. Within a moment, and you see 1 year ago or 2 years ago, then this same area, New South Wales, this eastern side, was completely dry, like such a dry time, and all the forests were on fire. And now very high flood water and lots of things. Lots of damage. And then this is one trouble in the world, it's flooding. Another trouble in the world is war and conflict and fighting. And we have here with us also from Ukraine, we had Nirupama. Yes, Nirupama Devidas is with us in Ukraine, in Govinda land, I think.
Yes.
And so, Dandavat, Nirupama Devidasi. So, we do get news regularly from there, and also I got little news today. And in English, I can say the devotees are all facing everyone has a different circumstance. They're all facing their circumstances in the devotional way and taking shelter of the holy name, of the devotees, and of Giriraj and Gauranga Sundar. So you're all okay, Nirupama Didi? Okay, this is international language. But her English is improving with practice, so we are happy for that. Okay, dear devotees, all devotees, we've come together one by one and happy to be with you all, with the grand gathering of devotees, actually. We've got Deva Priya Devidasi with us also, and Ashapurna Didi is with us, Bhagavan Prabhu is with us, Chintamani, Rai Ram, and back to Kori, a friend of Chintamani and Rai Ram's, I believe. You can just remind us, and Nahush, our regular attendee, he's always seated in the chair here, and Jeevana, who just got out of her chair, Jeevana, Dandavad. She's shy to be mentioned, and probably a coincidence that she got up just as we're mentioning her name. And Sevā Rupa Devidasi in South Africa, and Tunga Vidya in South Africa. Okay, hidden Tunga Vidya. Oh, Mum, yes, Mum. Sevā Rupa Devidasi, and Mum is Tunga Vidya. Okay, excuse me. All right, Jeevana, we just mentioned your name. Jai Jai Jai, and welcoming, and Priyananda Devidasi, and all together here. So first of all, let us give our obeisances to each other. Oh yes, and a little note here from Chintamani that Bhakti Kori is our friend in Nebraska. Yes, very good. So Kori, welcome. So first of all, 3 mantras to begin us on our way. We've come together. Let us chant first Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, because we're together, then to Guru, and then to Mahaprabhu today. All right. So Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. And to Guru, Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. And to Mahaprabhu, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gora Tvijay Namaha. Panchatattva and Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Shrivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome to all the devotees with us here and on Facebook. Sevā Rupa Devidasi is with us on Facebook also. Sevā Rupa from Mexico, and she's with us on Facebook, sending her dandavats to all the devotees around the world. Oh,
And to Madhusudan Maharaj as well.
And okay, and to Madhusudan, yes, to the devotees and to Madhusudan. Hare Krishna. All right, so I not only have a request, but we have actually a special day still running in America and a special day around the world. Yesterday for us, and today still in America, it is the installation day of the deity of Sadashiva, Gangadhar, in Navadip. This is the Shiva deity beside Govinda Kund in Navadip, Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, Navadip. And it is also Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's disappearance day. And so we've been remembering all over the world, those, especially those who know about Navadip and the temple there. We've been remembering a very happy day of the installation of Lord Shiva and leading up to Lord Shiva's arrival at the temple, etc. That's a very happy day. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's disappearance, of course, was unhappy that he disappears, but a happy day remembering Yudhāmanyu Prabhu and some of his unlimited glories as a devotee who satisfied Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. So we have with us Jivana Devi Dasi, and we would like to ask Jivana Didi to say a few words about Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. For those of you who don't know, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu Sevā Vikram is Jivana Devi Dasi's husband, and he was a grand servitor, a selfless servitor, and who best to ask to say a few words first than Jivana Devi Dasi, who obviously has been thinking, always thinks of Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, and must have been thinking of him quite intensely for the last day or so in particular. Jivana Didi, can we ask you to say a few words? Krishna Krishna.
Hari Hari. Well, Maharaj, you're just always so amazing. And certainly, I'm sure that anybody can say more about Yuda than I can, to be honest, but because I'm so inarticulate and full of, anyway, whatever, that's a whole nother story. But since you've asked me, Maharaj, I'll just say one little thing that I thought was really super sweet, encouraging, and hopeful one time when Yuda was giving a class. And it was sometime after Srila Gurudev had departed. I don't know if it was a class or maybe it was an informal talk, but it's just one little thing that he said, because someone was asking him, they said, oh, please tell us about your times with Gurudev, and what was your best time with Srila Gurudev? And Yuda kind of didn't even hesitate. He said, maybe the best is yet to come. And I thought that, whoa, it's like so kind of profound and hopeful. And because he had so many experiences and everything, but that was his thought. He was like, oh, well, maybe the best is yet to come. And I thought it was very hopeful for all the devotees that were there too, because they're also either missing Gurudev, or maybe they didn't have an opportunity to be directly with Gurudev. And so they can think like that. So that was the main thing. I just thought I would say one little thing. And well, the other, I mean, you know, another thing that was kind of unique about him was that, and I'm unfortunately, due to all my offenses, I'm very inarticulate. So please forgive me. Actually, please, all the devotees, please accept my obeisances, and please excuse my offenses and so many inadequacies here. But one thing was that he always wanted to do the service that Gurudev wanted. And I thought that was so unique, because I mean, like someone like me, it's like, okay, I'm doing this. Maybe I can offer some of it to Gurudev, but it's something that I already am doing and I already wanted to. But he really genuinely wasn't like that. He really wanted to know, no, never mind. But he didn't even say it like that. He was just like, what does Gurudev want? And if Gurudev wanted it, we're doing that. And we have other examples of that. Madhusudana Maharaj Prabhu, for example, Madhusudana Maharaj, for example. So, but it's just it's a very unique and deep, heartfelt conception that devotees that we actually associate with actually have. It's quite astonishing.
Jai. And
the only other thing, so 3 things, okay? So the other thing is that how much he really appreciated and just loved the association of the devotees. You know, he would just go on and on about it when he came back, and you know how wonderful Madhusudana Maharaj is, and Ashram Maharaj, and Paramananda, and you know, but he just could never believe how much sacrifice these devotees can do, and how much that he felt like they supported him and helped him so much, and he had so much gratitude in his heart for you and for many of the devotees. course, notably Madhusudha Maharaj. But anyway, I know he doesn't want me to say that, but it's truthful.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Jivan.
Krishna.
You've given us three things, three glories, which you are saying small, but they're actually all those three categories of glory of Yudhāmanyu Prabhu are very big. And I can say on the last point that Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's nature as a devotee inspired us and inspired others, I mean, including myself, to want to serve him and ask him, what can we do? And I think this is one of the magnetisms of a devotee, that from a devotee, then we get devotion also. And it's not only, you can say, our observation, Jivana's observation and our observation about Yudhāmanyu Prabhu being like surrendered, that he will do what Gurudev wants him to do. I mean, what does Gurudev want me to do? Only that, no consideration of his own preference, etc. But this selflessness, it's exactly what we're meant to be trying to develop in the world. But Yudhāmanyu Prabhu didn't have to try to do it. He was that kind of embodiment of selflessness. And Gurudev himself, it is his observation about Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu was Gurudev's probably principal example. He named him repeatedly, talking to the devotees about being the example of, this is the behavior of a devotee, of just asking to Guru, what do you want me to do? When some circumstances come up, I could do this, A, B, C, D. Now I'm at a crossroads. What is your wish? And then we've been there personally with Gurudev and Yudhāmanyu Prabhu on different occasions when this kind of situation has come up. And Gurudev, afterwards, when Yudhāmanyu Prabhu has gone from the room, he's kind of that wonderful expression on Gurudev's face, like amazing, that really he only will do what I want from him. And he is very, Gurudev, very, very pleased with Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. And so many things. We've known him a long time, but Jivana has known him an even longer time. And who else? Bhagavan Prabhu, I don't know how much you knew Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. I expect you know him personally. And
Maharaj, I don't.
Yes, Prabhu.
I don't remember that. I hear about all his glories, but I don't remember him exactly. By the time I was Navadik, maybe I saw him, because by that time was a lot of people coming. But I hear about how the devotees been glorifying him because he was a real nice servitor of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Maharaj, and Srila Govinda Maharaj. But maybe if I see that, I don't remember really personally. I don't remember his face. Maybe I saw him there by that time, but I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe if I see the picture.
But you do.
Yes, the glories of that devotees. I mean, here from everyone loved him. He was a real nice devotee. That's all the devotees into the
Jai Bhagavan Prabhu. But he's famous. Yudhāmanyu Prabhu is famous everywhere, yes, by his glories and his qualities. Hare Krishna. And who is with us who knows Yudhāmanyu Prabhu is also Deva Priya Devidasi. Deva Priya, are you in a place where you can talk? Or would you be happy to say a few words? Govinda, Govinda.
Yes, Maharaj, but nothing comes to mind. Thank you for asking. Okay,
no problem. But you are also, I think you're still there now, just in San Jose, the San Jose ashram in California. And
yes.
San Jose was Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's base for several years, heading up the collection party. And what collection party? The collection party for Gurudev. Yudhāmanyu's collection party was, Gurudev's, this is my party, he would say. And he was the inspiration, the organizer, etc., for so many devotees who did their everyday seva there of doing the, not just collection. Collection sounds a little, oh, that's very materialistic, but devotional collection, and the sukriti that so many devotees and so many of the public got from that seva, which was going directly to Guru Maharaj and directly to Gurudev during the different times. Then the sukriti that's been distributed from that San Jose area through San Francisco Airport, the DMV, the driving license place where everybody would go. I mean, these places, they're famous for us. And whenever I've gone through San Francisco Airport, I kind of try to feel and imagine what it was like when the devotees were allowed to collect in the airport before the days of security and restrictions and everything like that. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, he headed that up. The distributor of mercy. And let us give a quick mention to Kamala Sundari Didis, joined Nirupama in Govinda land. So very good to see you early in the morning, happily seeing you there in the temple. The refuge, the spiritual refuge always, wow. And a little bit of a refuge now too, in other senses. All right. Now we're going to ask Paramananda Prabhu to say a few words. And he and Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, good friends and good friends as devotees. And let us hear some devotee friend to friend appreciation for Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's Sevā Vikram today.
Raj, no matter what I'm going to say will not be sufficient, but do remind me, who was that? Guru Maharaj or Swami Maharaj, who was approached by a devotee, artist devotee, and they were very curious how to depict, how to paint Sudama. Was it Sudama? I think it was Sudama. Was it Guru Maharaj or Prabhupada?
I may not know this pastime.
Anyhow, they were asking, and the answer was, you can paint him, and he should look always ready to fulfill every desire of Krishna. And then I asked him again, but can you give some particulars? Again, they got the same answer, always ready to fulfill every desire of Krishna. And when I hear that story, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu comes to mind immediately. Really, like everyone mentioned, Jivanadidi mentioned, you mentioned, how he was always ready to fulfill every desire of Govinda Maharaj, regardless what it was. And not just that, he never relied on his own power, like Saraswati Thakur says. The followers in Rupa Nugalai, they never rely on their own power. They always praise our Guru Varga, the Vaishnavas who surround them. So he would always ask Srila Govinda Maharaj, and really it was the first question, am I giving you satisfaction? Am I doing a right thing? And of course, Gurudev would always approve, but that wasn't enough for him. Not just Govinda Maharaj, he will ask all the devotees he was close to, Prabhu, can you tell me, am I doing the right thing? Are you feeling I'm doing the right thing? Or Madhusudana Maharaj knows that very well, of course, Jivan knows that very well. He would literally almost daily ask that. He wanted to make sure that Vaishnavas are also satisfied. He knew if Vaishnavas are satisfied, Govinda Maharaj is satisfied naturally. He had that kind of nature. And I remember Goswami Maharaj was telling this story, I wasn't there present, but how he got service in China. Really, it was mentioned, a desire was expressed. It may not have been a very strong statement of Srila Govinda Maharaj made in public. It was a private conversation. During the private conversation, Govinda Maharaj expressed his satisfaction with the idea of taking Krishna consciousness and holy name to China. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu took it to his heart. And like I repeated many times to him, and it is by his grace, I was actually brought into Chinese preaching, and I will tell the story a little bit later, that I told him many times that I have no desire to go to China, really. Like, if this life, I don't have to go, I will be very happy. And he knew that. He invited me so many times to come. Because especially when Srila Govinda Maharaj started coming to Thailand, he would always bring Chinese devotees, because at that time it was very difficult for them to get Indian visa. So they would always come to see Govinda Maharaj, get initiated, to spend some time with the devotees when he was visiting Thailand. And in between, he would always bring some devotees. Some devotees never seen the sea. So one time he called me and said, can I bring some Chinese devotees? They really want to see a sea, an ocean. They have no idea what it is. So I said, yes, of course, Prabhu, you bring them over. And that was the whole special pastime. I mean, really, I have never seen people so happy. They're fully grown adults, but they behaved like they were 5-year-old children, just seeing the sea, touching the water of the sea. Very sweet. And then I remember in 2008, Srila Govinda Maharaj calls me into his room in Thailand. And for me, it was out of the blue. Asked me the following thing. He said, Prabhu, if Yudhāmanyu Prabhu ever asks you to go to China and help him there, if anything is to happen to Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, can you please assist and help him? You must promise me. Once I remember very well my thought, oh my God, I'm not going to China. That was my first thought when Gurudev said it to me. But it's Govinda Maharaj in front of me. So, and I thought, wow, it will never happen. Everything will be fine. So I don't have to go to China, but I have to promise. I said, yes, Maharaj, I promise I will do that. And I kind of forgot about it. And of course, we were very happy to be in the presence of Gurudev for a few years coming. And I'm thinking, okay, the Chinese devotees are coming here. They're having their association. Everything is wonderful. I don't have to go to China. And then Srila Govinda Maharaj left the world. A month after that, I received a call from Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, approximately 1 month. We're saying, Prabhu, you must come to China. We're going to have first Gaura Purnima festival, and without you, I cannot do it. I said, Prabhu, come on. You've been doing it for so many years. So I gave very lame excuse. I said, no, Prabhu, I cannot come. I have some business to attend. And then I hang up the phone. So we talked, and I just hang up the phone. And 15, 20 minutes later, I remember what I promised to Govinda Maharaj, and it hit me. And I called him back and I said, Prabhu, I'm coming. So that was the beginning of the Shenzhen Center preaching, actually. And the program was actually absolutely unbelievable, unexpected. And I can see it was the special grace by Srila Govinda Maharaj and of the Lord himself. It was a Gaura Purnima day, and we were invited to have a program, a semi-public in China. And Yudhāmanyu, he knew very well the consequences of very, open public preaching in China at that time. But somehow we were invited to this Indian restaurant arranged by Jayavati Didi at that time. And it's turned out to be not just a restaurant, but a big public place, no doors, no windows, completely open, right in the middle of the subway, with literally millions of people, like a river of people passing by. And I thought, Yuda, what are we going to do? You understand, it may end, we may not come back to the apartment tonight. And I said, Prabhu, this is the will of Krishna. We have to do it. And I said, all right, okay, if you say so. So we started a kirtan. And in the beginning, we had about 10 people. Literally 5 minutes later, people started hearing the chanting. Yudhāmanyu Prabhu was leading the kirtan. Manasa Krishna was playing mridang. And I was just assisting as much as I could. And that whole area was filled with hundreds of people, and more they were just stopping on their tracks. And we thought, okay, that's it. It's going to end really badly for us. But then I look at Yudhāmanyu and said, Prabhu, do not be afraid. I know Govinda Maharaj is with us right now, so do not be afraid. I said, okay, if you say so, Prabhu. So it's ended up with the big preaching program for almost 4 hours continuously. And we had to split to preach to people because they started asking so many questions. And I thought, okay, it's China. How are we going to preach? Turned out to be most of people maybe it's some Krishna's arrangement. They spoke very good English. They were asking questions in perfect English. So Yudhāmanyu Prabhu had one group of people. I had another group of people. Mansi Krishna had another group of people. Anyhow, it went well. We came back to apartment and we had 3 people following us. They just couldn't leave us. All of them become devotees. Everybody knows them. Anyhow, they got initiated. Some of them by Goswami Maharaj, some of them, I think all by Goswami Maharaj, maybe Acharya Maharaj. Anyhow, and then I said, okay, I did it. I fulfill my obligation to Govinda Maharaj. And Yudhāmanyu said, Prabhu, this is it for you. You're gonna keep coming here. I said, why? There's nothing for me. He said, what do you mean there is nothing for you? Look at them. Look at in their eyes. Their love and affection will bring you here again, again, and again. And I took it. Oh my God, he's cursing me. And then I was going back to Thailand, and I knew I'm gonna be coming back again, again, and again. And it actually happened. So this is how that part of China preaching started, by the grace of Yudhāmanyu Prabhu and the blessings of Srila Govinda Maharaj. And we can see now hundreds of devotees, initiated devotees, able devotees. We can see devotees doing puja, singing kirtans, giving talk on Chaitanya Charitamrita, having Thursday classes. Madhusudan Maharaj, he's a big fan of that. All coming from receiving just the slightest expression of desire by Srila Govinda Maharaj, taking it to his heart. And literally, I mean, it wasn't easy for Yudhāmanyu. I know it wasn't easy. Without the company of his friends, and I know Shuddha Shrava was coming. He was visiting him regularly, giving some company, but really he was there all alone. Always there is a chance to get at least fired from his job. That's the best case, or in the worst case, deported or worse, but still he was there for so many years. And then very soon, a small group of people started growing and growing and growing. And I don't know actually how many Gurudev disciples are in China, because at least anything between 10, sometimes, say 10 in average would get initiation from Govinda Maharaj. And how many he was also giving a connection as Ritvik of Srila Govinda Maharaj, how many he extended of those connections, I do not know. So he put those seeds in different places of China, and now they're sprouting. There's no doubt about it. So for me, he's always a very good, inspiring friend, always ready to open his heart, always ready to listen to you if you have any questions, you want to pour your heart to him. What else? There's so many things can be said, but we have such a short time, and I'm pretty sure other devotees have something to say. Jivanadidi, I hope you received my mail. Jai Shila Shriman Yudhāmanyu Prabhu Sevā Vikram Ki Jai.
Govinda, Govinda. Jai, and I just was, sorry, I was just slightly distracted at the very end as you're giving the Jais. I'm trying to understand. Praneshri, can you just explain your last message that you put in the box?
I put 2. One is a very sweet excerpt where Srila Bhaktisundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj, on affectionate guidance, the chapter Adeyat Hapanya. That's very sweet. And he mentions at the end, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. And the second one is exactly what Paramananda Prabhu was mentioning about Gaud Purnima in China. And I took it from our website. It's a note on March 2011. A happy conclusion to these successful festivals in remembrance of Sri Gurudev and the divine appearance of Sriman Mahaprabhu. Paramananda Prabhu expressed, it was all possible by the grace of Srila Gurudev, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, Jayavati Didi, Indumukhi Devidasi, Manasa Krishna, and I were there to support the team. So they were the team that had this beautiful festival, and Manasa Krishna and him were helping that beautiful team.
And actually, Indumukhi just joined few days before we arrived in the nightclub. where Jayavati went to. And Jayavati was dancing, and then Indumukhi was also dancing. Then she noticed a Kantimala, and she asked, oh, where can I get such a beautiful, very unusual beads? And then Jayavati said, oh, good question. You should come to this program. My very good friend and my mentor, my teacher is coming to Shenzhen, so please come. So this is how Indumukhi became Indumukhi.
Are Baba.
Because of the Kuntimala. Oh, Maharaj, if you please read the first part, the affectionate guidance, because
Yes.
it's so sweet.
Sure. So this is in Hapanya. Okay. So, okay, after the manifestation of the deity, and this is about Hapanya. Okay, yes, correct. And this is affectionate guidance. A day from the chapter, a day at Hapanya. So Srila Gurudev, Srila Govindam are saying, after the manifestation of the deity, when I was about to go to Hapanya, sometimes Guru Maharaj would ask, where are you going? And I would reply, I am going to my mat. Guru Maharaj would enjoy, and laughing, he would say, oh, Hapanya is your mat? All right, you may go. Guru Maharaj's mood was very happy if I served the deity of Radha Gopinath Ju, the deities in Hapanya. This is why I have become more and more enthusiastic to serve the deity. Also, many of my godbrothers, especially I can mention Śrīpād Yudhāmanyu Prabhu Sevā Vikram and Śrīpād Arvindalochan Prabhu's Sevā Sundar, are assisting me very much for the Hapanya Seva. And yes, you see, any connection, then Gurudev is showering mercy, and Hapanya so close to Gurudev's heart. And it is true, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu and Arvindalochan Prabhu was another who was Gurudev's and earlier Guru Maharaj's and then Gurudev's exclusive collection party. Everything that came to them came directly to Guru Maharaj's hand, and everything that they collected came directly to Gurudev's hand. And some of the devotees in the areas where they were collecting wanted some share of what was coming in. But Gurudev said, no, this is my collection party. So with the higher support, they were able to continue. And that also, you see how relishable that is. The devotees, really, they wanted to participate in that exclusive collection plan. And what's happening with the collection? Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, they're collecting, but as Guru Maharaj said, also the Vaishnavas, they spend, they're collecting, but they are spending everything. And Guru Maharaj even mentioned that, and the Vaishnavas, they are spending for the festivals, for service, the temples, everything, to such a degree, it will make the materialists nervous to see it, how they are spending, not like saving, putting into the bank, and then, thinking about the future. They're thinking about the present, what is coming, utilizing this in service, and confident the Lord will provide whatever is required, but not in a lazy way to sit back, but in this way, through the energetic way, the enthusiastic way of those who want to serve. And actually, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's like infectious desire to serve, it's coming from Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Let us, remember his lineage also. He's been with Srila Prabhupada, with Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, and he got special mercy. And Yudhāmanyu, by getting that mercy, that was infectious to others, to want to be serving with him, serving under him, to be with him, just to walk in Calcutta, which you know, some devotees don't find the most beautiful city, but actually I find quite beautiful. But Calcutta, just to walk in crazy Calcutta with Yudhāmanyu Prabhu was a joy. And I'm thinking of it right now, just walking with him in Calcutta. And always the talk will be something devotionally related. And I had by Gurudev and his grace, you know, quite a bit of association with Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. I've not ever heard a word of criticism of any Vaishnava from him. Now, really, I can think that is also, I mean, one of those qualities of the Vaishnavas. And so anyhow, today we were asked, like specifically, we should give some special mention, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's disappearance day, we should give some mention today. And really, this is our life. And Gurudev also said, what is our life is to glorify the Vaishnavas. So in this theme of back to basics, I mean, the basis of our life is to glorify the devotees and not to get into any party spirit about anything, not to get into hearing criticism, not to get into any of this like unhappy things, but the happy things only is a glorification of the devotees. And today, you know, we've got this example of Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, who's, by the way, I mean, for many devotees, they know him principally for opening up China, as it were, to Guru Maharaj Gurudev, our family. The trunk of the tree of Srila Saraswati Thakur's preaching, the trunk of the tree is Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu opened that up at much risk to himself, much selflessness, we have to say, by Jivana Devi Dasi, who sacrificed her husband, as it were, had long separation from her husband. He would come home, I do not know, 2 or 3 times a year. But she sacrificed her husband for the preaching, for the seva of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And one thing I would like to say also about Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, that he is an example for everybody, that it's not that you have to wait until a sannyasi comes by to your area, that you have a sannyasi, or when a sannyasi comes, we'll come to the temple and we'll hear what he has to say, this, that, and the other. But Yudhāmanyu Prabhu was a householder and a devotee householder, as you might note, was Bhaktivinoda Thakur and I mean, so many others, that the householders are preachers and also can give the example, the relatable example for so many, because inevitably most devotees are householders, or they're engaged in some duty in the material world, if not a householder. In fact, most seem to be house renters rather than householders. The bank is a householder, looking like many, yes, we own so many things. Actually, you might just find out that the bank owns that, not you, as some of our sweet friends have found out. And one relative of one of the friends here, one of the devotees here, has recently found out as the bank took over the house. Oh dear, with basically zero compensation. But there we are. So this world that we live in, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu was really a super example of a devotee, and in a very practical way, such an inspiring devotee for all, whether sannyasi, grihastha, brahmachari, any position in life. Yudhāmanyu Prabhu was the example that we need to be a devotee and not worry about anything else. We be a devotee, and then opportunities will come for preaching, opportunities will come for service, and we will try to check that this opportunity I should do or not do. And this way, we want to have somebody in this world where we can go and confide and ask questions, and we'll try to hear and understand, okay, what is it that Gurudev would want from us? I'm hearing from the Vaishnavas. Okay, this we shall try to do.
Maharaj.
Yes.
Just one more thing, since it's the disappearance Leela of Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. And he expressed so many times, he said, if there is no service for me to do, there is no point for me to continue living. And that the fact that he always wanted to do service. And we hear so many times that saying, I want to die in the harness, which is, I believe, Bhakti Shuranga Goswami Maharaj expressed.
Yes.
And how he left the world is also very significant and exemplary for all. Every action of the Vaishnava is actually an example, a lesson for everyone, even though they're not thinking this is the lesson, but their behavior is such that it can be a perfect example for everyone. So while he's taking a nap between the programs on Shivaratri, which is also very significant considering Gurudev's relationship with Lord Shiva, he just finished one program, preaching, and taking a short nap. This is when he leaves the world, ready to get up and continue evening program on Shivaratri, where all the devotees gathering, waiting for him. And these are the wheels of the Lord and wheels of Srila Govinda Maharaj. Who knows why? But the departure of such Vaishnava is also very glorious pastime. Heartbreaking, sad for his friends, associates, followers, but beautiful in the same time. That's all I wanted to say. And yes, Jivana Didi, yes. Not just sacrificing a husband, which is a huge sacrifice, but also funding the preaching there. I mean, I know how much Yudhāmanyu was getting from the university. And I know there's so many kids to feed, to take care of, and really, he wasn't concerned about his own comfort, renting the apartment. So it wasn't enough. Whatever he was getting was probably spent in a week for boga, cooking, organizing programs, inviting people, renting apartment, bigger apartments, so that some of the devotees can also stay. But Jivana was funding that preaching program too. So giving a husband energy, time, and money, everything towards that program. So when we're talking about Yudhāmanyu Prabhu's preaching, it's just like Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. You cannot separate them. So Jivana is also included naturally. So all those glories must also go to her.
Jai, big jais. We're all saying a big jai, but of course our microphones are off.
But really, all the glories have to go to the devotees for sure. That was one thing that Gurudev told you to one time. He said, you know, you have to be very careful of any kind of glory or pratishta. He said, pratishta will chase you and you have to run. So taking shelter of your lotus feet and praying for you that, actually, I'm a very fallen, ridiculous person, but you were also merciful and exalted. That is my saving grace.
Hare Krishna. And also just extremely briefly, we're touching on little points, but we know in the modern age, largely Yudhāmanyu Prabhu means so much for the Chinese contribution, the contribution of his service in China. But really, as we did mention just now a little bit, very substantial, his seva that took place in San Jose, and he was there by Gurudev's wish to be there in San Jose. And what we haven't mentioned is that before that in South Africa, he was a grand preacher, book distributor in South Africa, which is also quite likely, especially at that time, in the time of apartheid, it was not an easy place to spread the word of Mahaprabhu. So there is a long history, and really I don't know much about the earlier history of him being in South Africa. He was there with, I think, Śrīpād Maharaj. I'm not sure, maybe Jivana can say something about that, but although we may not know so much, then Guru and Gauranga, they know everything, and you know, all of this is, any of the seva that he did was glorious. And actually, Sevā Vikram, this title, Vikram, it means heroic, heroic, with valor, with like glorious, like something like this, very strong, heroic. And so Sevā Vikram, this title given by Gurudev to him.
Who is glorious by his seva. That is his glory.
Jai Śrīpād Sevā Vikram Prabhu. Sevā Vikram. What? Now I've got the order all wrong. Sevā
Yudhāmanyu
Vikram.
Sevā Vikram.
Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. Though actually Gurudev liked to say the title, then Prabhu, then the names. Sevā Vikram Prabhu Yudhāmanyu. But Gurudev also liked to say like Prabhu Paramananda. He liked that. And this expression, like putting the Prabhu first and then the devotee's name, the Mauritius devotees were doing this themselves. Somehow that's in the Mauritius style, was they would do that. But they were not doing that in Navadip. But Gurudev commented, he said, actually, this is very nice to put first Prabhu and then the name of the devotee. So we know, we get all the glories and then, okay, who's got all these glories? And then such and such a person. But Gurudev did say that, and occasionally you will hear Gurudev say, like Prabhu, somebody's name, but 99.9% probably, some of you can calculate it all and count them all up. Gurudev would actually say the devotee's name and then Prabhu, because that is the actual custom since a long time ago. And look who joined us, Dial Chan Prabhu in New York City. My goodness. Dandavat Prabhu. Very welcome. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Very welcome and a happy surprise.
Maharaj, since you mentioned Mauritius, I remember something about South African glories, because that I heard from Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. I was asking, tell me some history, how you preach in South Africa. So he's telling me all those stories, and then he's saying, then at some moment I decided I have to go to see Guru Maharaj. So I'm taking a flight and I'm going on the way to see Guru Maharaj. And at airport, I'm meeting one devotee. I'm not devotee, just man at that time, from Mauritius, Indian origin man. And I'm preaching to him. And then literally I spent with him half an hour. Then I went to Guru Maharaj. And then I asked, then why are you mentioning this person? What happened to him? And then Yudhāmanyu said, oh, he opened the temple of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati in Mauritius a few months later. Just by half an hour association with Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. Jivana knows. And I unfortunately forgot his name. But she knows who is this.
I think this is, or Jivana can say, I think this is Adhoksaja Prabhu, I believe. Correct? Jivana? Yeah, it's Adhoksaja Prabhu, almost certainly. Yeah.
Could have been.
Right, again, half an hour's association with Yudhāmanyu Prabhu can change your life, just see. Oh, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. And really we think about, where are our friends, those who were very gracious to us, very kind to us during their lifetime. And I think, where are they now? And do you remember us down here on planet Earth? Hare Krishna. And planet Earth is a terrible place. Isn't it, Arjuna Prabhu? Arjuna joined us there in Govinda land in Ukraine, where very much in everybody's front, all the things we read about in the Śrīmād Bhagavatam everywhere about the world being a place of suffering. We think it's all very wonderful, but it's an illusion. And then when it's suddenly right there with us and we see and we're in it, then we realize, oh, really, what the scriptures say is true. The world of birth and death, old age, disease, of wars, of famines, and as Rupanuga Prabhu showed us from Australia just a few minutes ago, at the beginning of the gathering, and floods, earthquakes, all the viruses, the plagues, all these things, they are going on constantly, and especially birth and death, this misidentification with the body. So this is what the preaching is all about, to share the medicine for getting out of all of these difficulties. And that medicine is centered around the holy name, around service, around Vaishnavas and Guru, centered around putting Krishna's interest at the center and not our own. So let us all learn, and when we have friends who are in difficulty, when we know people who are in difficulty, it reminds us very much, brings the reality of how this world is not our home to the front, to the forefront. Just as when, when relatives, when somebody close to us is in some very difficult position, then we get a little reminder or a big reminder. So now we have so many devotee relatives who are in difficulty in different ways in the world. Without the virus, without war, without flooding, without forest fires and drought, without all these things, still, inevitably, we have got on a one by one basis the suffering of the individual souls, whether individual or collectively, but it is going on. It's listed in the scripture. And birth, death, old age, disease. This is headed by these things, and then so many subcategories. But have you heard about Goloka Vrindavan? Have you heard that every step is a dance, every word is a song, where everything is wonderful? Even the sunlight and the moonlight are divine ecstasy, where there is no past and future, but eternally in the living present. So many qualities of Goloka Vrindavan, and Mahaprabhu and Nityananda are distributing tickets to that land. Or as that song says, that Mahaprabhu is standing on the bank with the ghat. In India they call ghat, means where the ferry leaves, the boat comes to the shore. He's standing there calling to the people, come and get on the boat. I'll ferry you across, I'll ferry you even upstream against all the difficulties and take you home. Come board this boat. And all we need to do is to have the faith that, yes, I'll board that boat. Why will I be suspicious? Why will I hesitate? Why, everyone's treating people. How can they be giving a free trip, etc.? And what are they saying is the destination? Somewhere. I'm not sure about that. If we don't have faith and don't board the boat, then we're going to be wandering around on the land of this world forever. So let us have that faith. Let us build the faith with association by seeing the example of devotees who have boarded that boat, by taking the devotional part of every devotee everywhere, and especially when we come across like very unique and special devotees like we're remembering today, then we can take every part of the devotee and say, look and see, this is the devotional service that pleases our masters. This is the mood. We can learn from it, and we can be hopefully infected with that kind of infectious, enthusiastic devotional mood. Have faith in the holy name, faith in Guru, faith in the scriptures, faith in service, faith in Mahaprasadam, faith in the deity, faith in the whole process that's been given to us by Mahaprabhu, and in our practical way by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev. Let us board the boat of Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan, tell others something about Krishna. We don't know who we are speaking to. People in their heart, everybody wants a doorway. They want to know where is the door to a proper living world, not just another door to temporary relief in a holiday hotel or a holiday resort or something. You can get pretend some happiness in this world. We can try, but even the most successful by the richest, most capable people, it's not even a grain compared with what's been promised by Mahaprabhu Nityananda, by Krishna himself, and by the whole of the scripture and the sadhus who've tasted just a drop of what is there in the pure land of devotion. Hare Krishna. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, yes.
I have a little anecdote to share. I'm trying to connect Yudhāmanyu and what you just said. When I took initiation from Gurudev, he told me to come to Ladies Ashram in America. And it was hard for me to come because it was a war in Yugoslavia at that time. So American wouldn't give me visa at all. And Gurudev asked Yudhāmanyu to help me with paper if I can get a visa to come to America. So Yudhāmanyu did everything. He even took me to American embassy. He was there with me vouching and sending paperwork to do missionary work. And nothing didn't work. We tried for 3 months, all different possibilities. And then I was in England and Gurudev was talking the story how once he was in America and he was crossing to Mexico in a car and no one was asking him for a visa or for passport or for anything, and I was just listening like the story, and Yudhāmanyu was there, and just to prove how fearless he was and how he never took no for satisfying his guru, he was telling me, did you understand what was Gurudev just telling to us? I was like, no idea. I was just like 20 years old. I just couldn't connect the dots. What was Gurudev trying to say? But Yudhāmanyu knew it. He knew it, like what Gurudev wanted. Like so he organized a party for me to cross America, American border. And how we did it was having a faith in Gurudev and his instructions and mercy of devotees, and door was open. So I just drove, that way without any difficulties, and I'm here with beautiful association, and so just a little amazing anecdote with Yudhāmanyu, Gurudev, and many devotees who were part of it.
Beautiful, very, very nice.
It sounds maybe like illegal or something, but some things are above like what seems not proper, but mercy is always there.
Everything is legal for devotion. Krishna, he's saying it's not the activity, it's the whole intention behind it. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, he picked up on what Gurudev was saying, you can say in code form, as
Exactly.
Yudhāmanyu. And then again, he's fearless because he also involved in everything there. So he's fearless, and yes, this is Gurudev.
Yeah, he organized the army to bring some little girl over some, border. It was just like army of devotees, like every dot, like how many people, like even the Rani is here. She was part of it. So it was interesting to see that. And
Dandavats, I would say that truly when you say that the doors were open, they were, because I remember talking with Sri Shravā Prabhu and hearing about it, and everything was like super beautiful flow. So it wasn't illegal in any way. As Madhusudan Maharaj is saying, Gurudev is, whatever, I can't remember what you just said. I have a cough right now, sorry.
It's okay. You must have been very young then, Narayani, also.
Oh,
Yeah.
at the time, Deva
Yeah.
Priya, I think, was about 20 or 22, and I was probably, at the time, I had Jambavan. So he was about, I think I remember seeing Deva Priya probably when I was about maybe 23, so she must be 25. But how old
Yeah.
were you, Deva Priya?
I
Yeah,
was
she said
21.
21.
Oh,
Mhm.
Anyhow, you're all young at that time and under the care, and again, so many came under the care of Yudhāmanyu Prabhu. He gave protection to so many. Hare Krishna, back to Corey, beautiful glories, Dandavat, very inspiring. Yes, Corey, we agree with you, we can say here. And actually, I do have other things as well. You're speaking and hearing that come to mind about Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, but we have to keep those in our little storehouse and share with those here because the time has ticked by. But also Deva Priya just gave a little reminder that in Ukraine now there is war. We understand that, but you see Deva Priya also coming from where there was war before. So war is taking place in this world. Somewhere, sometime, all the time. And we must be realistic to all of this, not get caught up in any local interest, but only caught up in the Krishna conscious central interest and take practical steps, but take full shelter in the Lord. And so as Deva Priya pointed out, some practical things, Yudhāmanyu Prabhu saw how to translate Gurudev's wish into practical steps and do that. But the real shelter is always the holy name of the Lord. The holy name is the Lord's incarnation in this age. It is the Lord himself, especially in Kali Yuga. And so let us take shelter of the name of the Lord, of course, of the Vaishnavas, of Guru, and let us do the right thing. Let us try to be good students and take every wave as favorable. But still, we definitely, the devotees' hearts around the world and prayers around the world are with everyone who's in difficulty. And for all those in Ukraine, those in Australia who really were in a very serious situation just now, and now the water we see was receding, but that also, I don't know, I don't see the news, I don't know how many people, but that was also life-threatening, and houses and cars and everything being washed away. So natural disasters, man-made disasters, but the disaster is we forgot Krishna in the past. So we are here now to again be reminded of Krishna. So what looks like a disaster, let us take all these in the positive way. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
Maharaj, Jagamohini, Didi, Dandavar pranams to Maharaj and dear devotees, and especially Jai Jivana Devi Dasi from Jagamohini.
And Jim Simo, who is quite regularly with us from time to time with us, and Mathura Basini Devi Dasi, and also the two Narayani Nadiyas, one's on Facebook too, so very good, happy to have you there. And Michael Madhava Prabhu is with us, and Sevā Rupa also from Mexico, as we mentioned before. She's been with us from the beginning on the Facebook during our live program. So to all of you, and to Dayal Chand Prabhu who joined us a little later, and to each of you who are with us here, and Varun is there with Muktinath Prabhu there in Govardhan, or Vrindavan. In Govardhan, yes.
Govardhan.
Yeah, Govardhan.
Yes, in Govardhan.
So, all right. We hope you can join us again next week from Govardhan and or Vrindavan, and let's have a little sneak look around next week to remind us of our homes, of the shelter of the ashrams made by Gurudev around the world, but in the holy places in India too. And Dana, happy to have you with us, and all the quiet ones that have been with us today, Ashapurna and Udaran Prabhu, Sevā Rupa, and everyone who's been very quiet. Yes, Ashapurna, Govinda, Govinda. Oh, and Ashapurna, you're going to India. Is it for Gaura Purnima?
Yes.
And Ramasunda and Srileka?
Then Srileka is still up in the air, but we're hoping we can just put her in a suitcase and she can come. But she's still up in the air, and it'll be also Vinodini. And then my friend Carly is going to be coming as well.
Okay, so 4 certain and 1 is up in the air. So we hope that Srileka lands after being up in the air in India. All right, to all the devotees, very happy to have your association and have this opportunity with the devotees to glorify the devotees. The very basis of our devotional life is appreciation of the devotees and the glorification of the devotees. And Yudhāmanyu Prabhu, he is a wonderful example for us all to practice our glorification, but from the heart, not just saying. So much appreciation and friendship to him, from him. We are very grateful for the Krishna allowed us to have his association. Jai Srila Gurudev, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. And Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Vishvaranya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranam, and wishing you all success and safety in Krishna consciousness under the umbrella of our Guru's lotus feet. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki Jai.
Ami Ashchi, I am coming. Dandavat.